This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Bumper Radio. I am Matt Allen, along with Tim Nelson this week, because Dave Riccio has decided to step out and get some time to decompress. So, again, welcome to Bumper Radio. Boy, Tim, it feels different standing over here talking behind the mic. I miss so much.
You were gone for a while.
Yeah, May, and a couple weeks in May and June with business meeting, a high school graduation, a trip to the Indy 500, which I need to get some pictures put up on Facebook. We've got the Indy 500 pictures, and then I went to Europe, and I really like the cars. And I mean, a lot of the same cars here, but there's a lot of different cars over there that you kind of start to see the influence, come into the U.S. And I just wonder why these automakers have so many different models all over different parts of the world. So,
well, you think you miss much? I haven't been here in seems like ages. I think
right?
December, January. I don't know.
Well, and I was back with Dave and I were in together the last couple of weeks, but we had some guests. We had the body shop team, and we had the guys from H&I Automotive last week, and then Dave had 5 guests in a row. So. I think he's a little bit worn out. So, nonetheless, Dave's off. Tim Nelson, Virginia. Ooh, my microphone's falling around. Tim Nelson from Virginia Auto Service is in to help carry the conversation. And as usual, Bumper to Bumper Radio is just a show to help you be in your comfort zone when it's with your car. Doesn't matter if it's buying a car, selling a car, laundry list of repairs. Should I keep it? Should I sell it? Should I dump it? Should I buy? All kinds of different things. So anything that has to do with your car, if we can help you, we certainly will. And the way we can help you is you can tune in, and then you can call 602-277-5827. It's 602-277-KTAR. And, Tim, there's a lot. I mean, we're talking about, what are we going to talk about today? There's a lot of stuff going on out there. I mean, just locally, you've got the weather.
Yep, the heat's back.
The heat, well, kind of. We've been
110 yesterday, 111 today.
That hot?
Yeah.
Wow.
After what a great May and June was.
Well, and I think, I haven't really read the articles, but I think we're going to get punished. They said just because it was a little cool doesn't mean that's necessarily going to carry through. So maybe that global warming will show up, and Phoenix is going to be a little toasty. So
got to get your car ready for that now.
Yeah, and you know what, though? Some people don't have to get their car ready.
Oh, because they've been maintaining their car well.
My wife went up to Flagstaff and Sedona, is going out hiking, and she's got a conference up there and got the kids and everybody loaded in the car. I don't need to check it. Check the tire pressures before we go. But wouldn't it be nice to have that confidence
all the
that
time,
because your car is in the shop every 5,000 miles, you don't have to wonder if your car's in good shape. If you take it in, you follow the instructions of your service tech, you're going through the maintenance manual as a guideline, and you're taking care of these items, you can get in the car and drive. It's no big deal. But if you're not that person, and depending on the mileage in your car, now my truck just clicked over 140,000, but I'm confident and just send it out there. No big deal. But if you're not that kind of person, maybe you want to have the car checked out before you
take that road trip.
Yeah, take off to whether you're heading north to the Cool Pines or whether you're heading west to San Diego, or maybe you're just towing your boat to the lake here locally.
But I've said this a million times now. The key is to get in 2 weeks, a week, 10 days before, not Friday afternoon when you're leaving Saturday morning.
Right. And the other common phone call we get, Tim, what do we get? We'll get it let's see, it's Thursday this year. So
yep.
Tuesday or Wednesday around 2:30, what will the phone call be? Can I get in for a fill in the blank?
Oil change. Because I'm going on a road trip.
Yeah. So the oil change is usually the method or the vehicle to look the car over. But I tell people all the time, you don't need an oil change to go out of town. Why don't you come in? We'll check your oil, make sure it's full, but the most important thing we need to do is check the tire pressures and look at the tires. Make sure they're in decent shape.
And the fluid levels are good, the battery test's good,
yes.
Wipers are good, because you go up north, they can get a monsoon, boom.
Yeah.
Down here it's beautiful, up there they get a
and we're already
storm.
in monsoon season. So
the little things like that is what matters.
So really don't really think that you have to get an oil change to go out of town, because it's just the other things we're checking. Hey, we had a great customer and good friend bring his daughter's car in. She was driving to Vegas with some friends. It was due for a service, and this was scheduled, so we did it. But it does need some control arm bushings on this little Volkswagen SUV. They're not torn through all the way, but they're getting ready. It's time. We've been watching them. She needs some cooling system maintenance. But I said, David, you helped him.
Yeah,
we talked about it.
Yeah, we said, well, when you get back, the car's going to make it up there fine.
Yeah.
And, you're going tomorrow, so Murphy's Law would be we do something and, halfway up to Vegas.
Yeah, Murphy likes to work overtime.
Yes.
He likes holiday pay.
Especially when it comes to any type of cooling system work.
Yeah, after hours pay, late call and overtime are, Murphy really likes. So, but yeah, the car needs the work, but we don't need to do that before you're going to jump in it with 4 of your friends and drive for 5 hours. We just don't need to. You're better off to sometimes leave things alone and do that. The other thing I wanted, if you're a regular listener to KTAR, you may have heard it this week, or you could Google the way I refound it, but CBS News about car age. I forget what term I used, but there's a story that will probably be playing this weekend. The average car on the road right now in the U.S. is 11.8 years old. So remember that number. In the West, it's 12.4, slightly less, 10.9 on the East Coast, and Northeast probably because of rust and the way the cars fall apart, so to speak. That rust is tough. And then in the same conversation, they're talking about people that the finance, and the next big bubble to break, it was the housing bubble. The next big one out there is the car loan bubble. There's more and more and more cars being financed for 84 months. Folks, it's 7 years. Nothing wrong with having a car or a car loan 7 years, but if you're going to have a loan for 7 years, you better be prepared to make that car live for 15 years. Or at least 10, unless you want to be perpetually in car payments for the rest of your entire life.
And if you average, let's say, 12,000 miles a year, in 10 years, that's 120,000 miles. And a lot of people have this mental thing, when it gets to 100,000 miles, it's time to do something with the car.
Like get rid of it.
Yeah, not anymore. This is it's almost like it's the midlife crisis for the car.
Well, yeah, it's exactly right.
Yeah.
It needs some love. It's not getting at home.
Yeah, and now let's go for 200,000 and 12 or 14
well,
years.
And not very many people are doing 12. I mean, I think our average is we're creeping more towards 15 lately. Now, our shop's downtown. People are commuting, but still think people are driving. So you're talking 150,000 miles in 10 years. And that's no big deal. You can get there. We've got those customers, Tim.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So, and then the next, I just did the math, the little, thank God for the Google loan calculator. I don't have a scientific calculator, and God knows I wouldn't know how to use it. But a $36,000 car is really about $40,000. So you take a $36,000 car, add an 8.5% sales tax, plus whatever else they get you for the finance department, the extra this and the desert protection package and all this other nonsense. and then you add in some sales tax and license, and maybe you put 10% down. You have a $40,000 loan. A $40,000 loan at 4.5% interest at 84 months is $556 a month. That's palatable. 60 months, $740. The point is, it's a lot of money, and we need to take care of these cars. So maybe next week what we'll do, we'll talk about, and Dave and I have done this before, what's the cost of ownership of a new car? What are you doing in the first year, right? Tire rotation, a couple oil changes, maybe a filter or two. Then what are you doing in the second year? You're going to approach 30,000 miles, so you're going to do 2 more oil changes. Maybe a set of brakes in the high 30s, or
some cars transmission service.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, there's a lot to think of, and you can make these cars last. The key to doing that is get in to your service shop, have a relationship. Go to bumpertobumperradio.com and find that shop if you don't have one, and let us take care of your car and express how you want to do that.
And also, too, a lot of people that we have see downtown, too, they may not drive 5,000 miles in 6 months.
True.
So we need to see you, every 6 months, or your oil, you might only go 3,000 miles in 7 months, but we want to see you every 6 months to check your car out, even though you haven't got to that oil change interval.
Yeah, we may not need to change the oil, but at least maybe we want to set the tire, do that little quick, the no oil change checkout before the trip. Just check the fluid levels and maybe rotate the tire. It just depends on the car. So, and then short trips, just because you didn't go 5,000 miles, that's tougher on the oil than long trips, especially depending on how far you're going. So there's the other point I want to make too is there is not just a one size fits all for auto repair maintenance. You could have two 2015 Camrys, two totally different driving styles and car owner types, and you're going to maybe apply two totally different maintenance strategies to those cars.
That's why it's a key to have a good relationship with your shop and your service advisor.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
so
a key.
Have the conversation. That's the thing. So we do need to get to a break. So 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR is how you get in the phone call, and Bryce will get your name and some information from you and get you lined up. And if you'd like to text us, you can do the 411-923. You're listening to Matt and Tim on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Matt and I share car repair tips weekly to help you keep your car safely on the road, and a few of them are easy to do.
Yep, you're right, Dave. And one of the easiest is to have a dependable battery that you can trust to get you started no matter what the conditions.
Interstate batteries are what we trust at Bumper to Bumper Radio. In fact, they're what we use at our own shops for our customers.
If you're like most people, your car is one of your most valuable investments. Make sure you take care of that investment with the power necessary to get you where you need to be. Interstate batteries are America's #1 replacement brand with the factory fresh guarantee, and they're easy to find at good shops everywhere.
Cars or trucks, Interstate has you covered with long life and performance in our harsh desert climates with products like Megatron Plus. It carries a 30-month free replacement and a 6-year performance guarantee.
Interstate batteries. No battery lasts longer. Check them out at interstatebatteries.com.
Honesty and integrity. It's the only option. Hi, Spencer Doucet for H&I Automotive. H is for honesty, and I is for integrity. We built our business on these two principles. We opened our first shop in Mesa in 2009, and with the support from our loyal customers, we've now grown to a second state-of-the-art location in Gilbert. 2 locations, same principles. Quality service at a great value, backed by an industry-leading 60-month, 60,000-mile parts and labor warranty. Check us out at HandIautomotive.com.
There is nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock here for Kurt's Auto Repair. I brought my nephew and general manager, Jeff Rock, to help spread the word.
Thanks, Pops. Yep, the more things change, the more they stay the same at Kurt's. Family owned and operated, our ASE Master Techs and family ethics have earned us a perfect Better Business Bureau record for over 30 years. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue in Bell or online at mycarhurts.com.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic, if your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Well, if you've got the right amount of fuel and the right amount of fire, your car will be sounding just like that jam right there. Internally, it'd be banging away like it should. Fuel and fire and a little bit of pressure, and you're ready to roll. And some of you might have the Metallica car out there, and some of you have the Sade car, and just depends. But 602-277-5827, that's how you get in line, just like Jacqueline, Steven, and another Steve, if you have questions for us here at Bumper to Bumper Radio. So welcome back. Tim Nelson from Virginia Auto Service is in helping me carry the conversation along. Tim, anything interesting happening in the shop the last couple of weeks? What's the trend? What are you seeing happening out there?
Well, we've been super busy, and some air conditioning stuff's been coming up, and a few coolant system services and maintenance, but general stuff and just people keeping their cars maintained.
I've seen a couple tow trucks. What's getting towed in? Anything?
We had a couple alternators this week. Yes.
So,
yep.
You can check your car out till you're blue in the face. You can pre-check it. You can pre-trip check. You can pre-purchase inspection. You can check and check and check. And that's one of those things. It's just going to burn out. It just go, I mean, it's like a light bulb.
Yeah, there's no maintenance for that.
Eventually, you turn on the switch and it just goes. But you can protect that a little bit, taking care of. Make sure you've got a good battery in the car, a quality battery, nice clean connections. And that will maybe help preserve the life of the alternator.
We just don't like to see those ones coming in with the smoke coming out of the hood and.
Well, and that's we've talked about.
We don't have that. We haven't had much of that lately, thank God.
Yeah, and they're smoking, they're steaming, is what it really is, and that's the number one way to ruin your car. To take maybe what was a $500-600 radiator repair, possibly, and turn it into a multi-$1,000, $2,000-3,000, even more, cylinder head gasket replacement or valve job from overheating the car. So that's one thing. If your car overheats, try to get it off the road as soon as you can, and don't drive it. Don't just it's a tow bill. It's just think of insurance. If you spend $60 or $70 on a tow bill that you maybe didn't need to, it's okay because it's a safer bet than trying to drive the car. And never ever, that's the other thing, never ever ever try to open a hot radiator
cap. Yeah.
Because even if you can get the radiator cap off and there's no pressure in there, what will happen is that is super super hot. You go pour cold water in there. That radiator is going to be like The Exorcist. It's going to vomit that, that water or coolant out onto you, and it's not good at all. So, 602-277-5827. Give us a call. We will help you with whatever ails you on your car. And for now, I'm going to reach over and we're going to get Jacqueline on the phone. Jacqueline's got Toyota Sequoia, I believe. Jacqueline, how can we help you with your car today?
Hi. Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure, you bet.
I have recently taken my 2002 Toyota Sequoia to my mechanic, and we were able to do a lot of the maintenance. However, he wasn't able to address the issue that I had with the steering. When I noticed when I'm turning, that there tends to be kind of a clicking noise. And it's whenever it's left or right. And most recently, I'm starting to feel a little bit of resistance in the turns. I checked the steering fluid, and while it was running, it was hot, and it was right at the line that it should have been, but not quite sure where to go and what the issue is right now with it.
Now, is your Sequoia, now when you hear that clicking noise, does it sound like it's coming from outside of the car, maybe down by your feet, or does it sound like it's inside the car, like in the steering column mechanism itself, like right behind the steering wheel?
Yeah, so it sounds like it is coming from inside the cabin, right by the actual steering wheel. Mm-hmm. And I thought maybe something fell there and it was catching on something, but I kind of looked it over and I didn't find anything.
Okay. Tim, I don't know what you think, Tim, but nothing on the Sequoia stands out as a common failure. Sometimes those noises behind the steering wheel are a little bit challenging because we don't know if they're actually transferring up through the linkage all the way into the steering wheel. I always say the hip bone's connected to the elbow bone somehow, so that may transition or transfer that feeling up there. The other thing that got me is you said it's a little bit difficult to steer as well, but the power steering fluid was full. So do you really think it's that much harder to turn, or do you think that might be a little placebo effect where you're hearing the noise and you think it's harder to turn? Or is it really hard to turn?
It is starting to. So it was at first the noise that I heard, and then most recently is when I started actually feeling the resistance, and I've had somebody else drive it who's driven it before, and they noticed it as well.
Okay.
I did want to mention that the Sequoia I inherited, and the light, it was a vehicle my mom actually owned since I was in high school. And one thing that I remember from back then is that the VSC, the traction control lights, they have always been on. And I don't know, my mechanic mentioned that might correlate. So I don't know if that might be something as well.
Yeah, for sure then. So it sounds to me like we might have two different problems. And I think, Jackie, what you need to do is find a shop that's capable of handling this. And if your mechanic quote that you've been using, maybe he's not capable, or maybe you weren't just letting him, go off and do the work. I'm not quite sure. But we need to find out why those VSC lights are on. That's traction control and stability control with that car. and that could
be related.
Yeah, it could be related. Oftentimes it's, that could be on for ABS failure. That could be on for a check engine light problem. I mean, the check engine light will come on if there's something that the car's running, not the computer senses an issue with the car, but will actually turn on those driver stability lights too, because they can't ensure the performance of the vehicle if it's not running optimum. So that's a possibility, but we need to separate and see if there's two different problems, Tim.
Yep, it sounds like that.
Yeah. So to get in and do that checking of the VSC and traction control light, it may require the use of a specialty scan tool. Like we have at our shop, we have the factory Toyota software. So the same thing they've got at the dealer, we've got in our shop. And I know a couple of the other bumper-to-bumper shops do as well. So
we just need to find out if, like you said, if your mechanic is not wanting to tackle that, you just need to find someone that can.
Yeah. And it shouldn't be simple, but we have to start by making sure that all of the systems
are working properly.
Work well. So I don't think we're going to have time to take in another call. I've been watching the clock here, and I don't know. I don't think. You know what? I'm going to go for it. We're going to go with Steve. I didn't want to sit here and ramble for 2 more minutes, so we're going to get Steve in Mesa with a Mitsubishi Spider. And if we don't finish up, we'll always pick it up after the break. Steve, how can we help you with your car today?
I just had the number one, I just had the traction control unit repaired, replaced, and then at the same time I had the the front end, inner and outer tie rod ends and everything complete on the front end and the rear end, and had a full wheel alignment done on it, but and everything's beautiful. I got it. I drove it home, and my wife, we went out and come home, and she pulled into the garage and parked, and then she pulled up too far, and I said, well, back it up, you're in too far. So she pressed on the brake, and the car would not go in, would not unlock from park, okay?
Okay.
You got to press the brake pedal, put it in.
Sure.
And then after 2 or 3 tries, we did finally get it to pop out. You think something could be it? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy one. I mean, there is a shift interlock button that prevents you as a safety item from shifting the car into park without having your foot, or into drive without having your foot, on the brake. You got, you had the runaway Audis back in the mid 80s taken off. So we will talk about how that system works after the break and explain it to you so that everybody knows how to deal with that when the problem happens. There's usually a bypass switch. We'll bring you up to speed on that. So you're listening to Matt and Tim on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
I've loved my 07 Chevy Avalanche. With low miles and good maintenance, it looked brand new. Unfortunately, my baby was struck recently and suffered some damage. I was devastated. I was not looking forward to the hassle of dealing with the body shop and the insurance company. Thankfully, a friend shared an amazing experience he had with Campus Auto Body Salon and their owner, Leo Petrozzella. So I went online and checked them out for myself. Been in business since 1973, incredible 5-star customer reviews, not only on their site, but with all the independent review services as well. So I made an appointment. After meeting Leo, my tension evaporated. He quickly gave me a reasonable estimate, then took care of everything from communicating with the insurance company to handling the rental car. Best part, several days later, I had my Avalanche back, and it literally looked and drove like brand new. The process was seamless. I'm Mike, a real customer and a raving fan. Make your first call the right call to Campus Auto Body Salon.
Now what the heck do you mean? I don't need a new transmission? Everybody else says I do. Hi, Dave Riccio, owner of Tri-City Transmission and Auto Repair. Yeah, we pretty much hear this daily. We find that repair shops, transmission shops, and dealerships alike are unwilling to simply make a minor repair to a transmission. It's not because they're dishonest. They just don't know how, and will never admit it, as they don't know what they don't know. At Tri-City Transmission and Auto Repair, transmissions are not just a black box. If we can fix them without costly overhaul or replacement, we will. And for 2/3 of our customers, we've been doing just that for over 45 years. If we do have to rebuild or remanufacture your transmission, you can be assured that it's done right and by experienced pros. We believe in it so much that we back it by our industry-leading 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty. No one is doing that, putting transmission blues in your rear-view mirror.
Get a second opinion before you buy. Find us online at TriCityTransmission.com. That's TriCityTransmission.com or on the Bumper to Bumper Radio homepage.
Arizona's news station. KTAR. On air, 92.3 FM. Online at KTAR.com. And streaming live on the KTAR News app. Your breaking news and traffic now.
KTAR News Time, it's 11:30. I'm Amy Pohl. The Woodbury fire burning east of Apache Junction is burning at about 124,000 acres at 68% contained. Gusty winds increased fire activity in the Fish Creek area. A burned area emergency response team has been called in to help identify and manage potential risks. State Route 88 remains closed to State Route 188. Tortilla flat businesses are still open. Tonto National Monument, Apache Lake, its campgrounds, picnic sites, and trailheads are also closed. Over 400 people are working to contain the fire that's been burning for 3 weeks now. It's believed to be human-caused. A man was found dead near 51st and Grand Avenue. Glendale police say they responded to a call around 6 this morning. They say he was shot, and police are still investigating. And now for a check on traffic. Here's Mike Daniels live in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Thank you, Amy. We do have an injury accident involving extrication at 75th Avenue and Camelback. Police and fire are on scene. Expect some delays in that area. And a wreck at Cave Creek Road right there at Loop 101 to watch out for. This traffic report brought to you by Smokey's Garage Door. Is your garage door squeaking, rattling, or just not working? The pros at Smokey's Garage Door will get you back on track fast. Free estimates and same-day service available. Just click Smokey'sGarageDoor.com. I'm Mike Daniels, KTAR News.
KTAR weather for the Valley. Today's forecast, it's 102 degrees in Scottsdale, hot with the high at 110. Then at night, it's mostly cloudy with the low at 83. Sunday, partly sunny, the high at 109. Then in the evening, partly cloudy with the low at 82. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. I'm Amy Pohl on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
Honor a Valley veteran by nominating them as a Grand Marshal at the Phoenix Veterans Day Parade November 11th. Text HONOR to 620-620. We need you to help us find deserving Arizona veterans to honor this Veterans Day. Text the word HONOR to 620-620. Honor Our Heroes is presented by Sanderson Ford.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A-plus rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20-plus years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
Hi, Kevin Rowe from I-17 Collision in Phoenix. If the bad news is you've had an accident, the good news is that with one easy click on bumpertobumperradio.com, you have the best collision, body, and paint shops to help you get back on the road quickly, safely, and with a repair you can trust.
Dave Lindgren here from First Class Auto Body in Scottsdale. Don't be fooled. Some insurance companies try to convince you that you must use their approved shops for your repairs. Not true. Arizona law allows you to choose the facility that's right for you.
And I'm Leo Petrozello from Campus Body Salon in Tempe. Having an accident is stressful enough. Dealing with the repair process shouldn't be. Appearance is important, but it's critical that structural integrity and safety are top priority.
3 convenient locations and one united team. With almost 120 years of experience and expertise between us, we are solely focused on taking care of you while working with your insurance company. The Collision Team at bumpertobumperradio.com.
Honesty and integrity. It's the only option. Hi, Spencer Doucet for H&I Automotive. H is for honesty, and I is for integrity. We built our business on these 2 principles. We opened our first shop in Mesa in 2009, and with the support from our loyal customers, we've now grown to a second state-of-the-art location in Gilbert. 2 locations, same principles. Quality service at a great value, backed by an industry-leading 60-month, 60,000-mile parts and labor warranty. Check us out at HandIAutomotive.com.
Few cities are as car-centric as Phoenix, and this is the show that'll help you to better understand that machine you depend on to get around the valley. It's Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and the KTAR app for Android and iPhone.
Righty, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Matt Allen. Dave Riccio is off today, recovering from me being gone for so long and carrying all the load and having all the guests in. So feels good to be back behind the microphone here. Tim Nelson is in to join me. Tim from Virginia Auto Service.
Good morning.
In Phoenix. Good morning, Tim. And then for everybody that's listening, maybe there's some new listeners, some old listeners, some young listeners, all kinds of listeners out there. Bumper to Bumper Radio is a show, what we do every Saturday, 11 o'clock. We'll help you with your car. The whole goal of the show is to help you be in your comfort zone and be in the know when it comes to having your car serviced. We don't necessarily want to teach you how to do a tune-up or what screw on the carburetor to turn, although we can help you with that if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But we want you to feel confident going to a repair shop and want you to know that it's okay to ask questions. Why should I do this? Is there a better way to do this? What would you do? What happens if I wait? What happens if I don't do anything? And have these conversations so that you can make good decisions fixing your car. You know, we talked earlier in the show, we were talking about maintenance, the age of the cars on the road. You know, if you're driving a 12-year-old car, you're about average. That's what the average age of the cars on the road is. GM just announced they have a $100,000 pickup truck. This is a pickup. My first house was $100,000, okay? And I didn't have to pay license and registration on it. You know, pay property tax, but you know, so you go buy a $100,000 truck. Not many people are doing that, but you've got to take care. I don't care if it's a $40,000 car or truck. You've got to take care of them. That's what we've been talking about. So that's what the whole goal of this show is, just to help you with the car. And then if you need help with the car, you need to find a mechanic. You don't have one. You want to choose one. Go to bumpertobumperradio.com. There's a list of shops there that good people fixing your cars. Dave and I, carte blanche, will recommend them to fix you, and we just know they're going to take care of you. So, and then one more public service announcement before we get to these phones. If you're a technician out there, we know there's a lot of technicians listening, because we get some feedback occasionally. We're hiring. I know that a lot of the bumper-to-bumper radio shops are looking for people or technicians, but me at Virginia Auto Service, we are hiring. So if you're a technician looking for a job, hit me up at Virginia Auto Service. I'm opening a new shop in a couple weeks. We need to staff that facility. So please give me a call. And I got to get back to Steve, actually. We're not going to bring him on the line. But before the break, Steve had some work done in his car, traction control unit replaced, tie rod in, some front-end work and alignment. And then he had a problem getting the car out of park in the garage. Pulled it in, couldn't back up. It would not come out. So these cars have a brake safety switch or neutral safety switch, park release, whatever you want to call it. Many of them use different names for the same thing, but you have to step on the brake. What happens when you step on the brake, that contacts a switch, same one that turns on the brake light, that will send a little signal, electronic signal, to a solenoid in the shifter, and it will allow you to shift from park to reverse or drive. Well, when that doesn't happen, then you have to go to the owner's manual typically. You look, and there might be a slot or a cover you can pop up or something there. I know in some of the Hondas there's a little hole, and you pop out the little piece of plastic, put the key in there, it basically pushes a button, then you can shift it to neutral, start the car. Some of them you pull a whole boot up, and there's a lever you can pull on. So that's how that system works. Now, to diagnose that, intermittent is tough, but pay attention to what's happening around you. If you're in your garage and you're stepping on the brakes and it won't shift, look and see if your brake lights are on. That's a good diagnostic tool. If there's no brake lights and the car won't shift, then suddenly there is brake lights and it will shift. That's probably the problem. Test your cruise control. Sometimes there's two switches. There's redundant switches in the brake light switch. So go out and drive the car, and if the cruise control doesn't work, that might be something related to why it doesn't shift out of park. And then if you bring that information to us, that saves you money.
Because we can find it simpler.
Yeah, we can go and double check those items. So Steve, hopefully that helps you. If that intermittent problems happens again, be on the lookout for the brake lights. So we are going to go with, we've got such a patient Steve in Phoenix with the Toyota Corolla. Steve, you're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. How can we help you today?
Oh, hey, Matt, I got a question about disinfecting the AC unit in the car.
Okay.
I used to take a can of Lysol and spray it through the outside vents with the air on, but that was before cabin air filters. So I'm wondering if I can do the same thing, just remove the cabin air filter and then put the air on, and then take and give it a shot from the outside so that it does get down through the air and get down to the AC unit.
Absolutely, you could do that. That's what I was going to suggest is, in the shop when they get milk. Now, does yours stink already on a 2017, or you're being proactive?
I'm getting proactive, but they say turn the AC off and let it run with fresh air for a couple of minutes before you head home. And when I do that, it's not a bad smell, but it's not a good smell.
Right. Well, and I think you might be getting a couple different things there. So what Steve's talking about is just the musty, mildewy smell that can happen when it's humid outside. The air conditioning is condensating the air. It's pulling the moisture out of the air. So that's those drips you see underneath the car. Well, those don't always drain out, and when they do, or if they don't, they get a little bit of mold or mildewy smell, just like any old thing of water sitting around for a long time. So yeah, Steve, what I would do in that case, if I were you, you want to remove the cabin air filter. You've done this and you're capable with the tools. Get the cabin air filter out, and yes, you would spray the Lysol or disinfectant from the outside if you have it on fresh air. But you may also go right down to the recirculate, put it on recirc and spray down there on the floor where the intake, and you get it from both sides. And then I guess I would maybe go pretty heavy with it and then just shut everything off. Tim, what do you think?
Yeah, and I'd also do it after you put the cabin filter back in, so some of that gets absorbed through the filter. It's not going to hurt anything.
No, probably not. I don't know.
I do that on mine.
Okay.
That's why.
You have the Frigid Fresh thing.
Yeah, and then also make sure if that filter's dirty, replace that, because that can be a
cabin air filter you're typically going to do once a year.
Yeah.
And then on the ones that are really nasty, you want to make sure that the vent is clear, make sure that it is dripping the water out. And then if you have one that's really nasty, we've got some things in the shop we can do. We have an ozone machine that will kill bacteria and such. But then we can take the electronics out of the box and we can foam that thing, and it just kind of
And then they have the option
off.
for the charcoal cabin too.
Well,
some vehicles.
Yeah. So if you're changing your cabin air filter, even if your shop calls you and tells you Mrs. Jones or Mr. Jones or whatever your name is, you need this cabin air filter, depending on your allergies, if you're sensitive to odors or to perfumes or whatever, you can get a charcoal activated cabin air filter instead of the standard HEPA filter and help with those odors as well. So good luck with that one, Steve. We're going to go with Frank in Mesa. He's got a BMW. And, Frank, how can we help you with your Beamer?
Hey, I got another air conditioning question for you guys.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a puzzler for me. I love my car. It's a 2004 BMW 330. And for the past 6 months or so, the heater or the air conditioner is not working right. So in the middle of the summer right now, the air conditioner is getting me a little bit of cold air, but it's mixed with some hot air also in the vents, and you can feel it. It's not as cold as it's supposed to be. So I went to my favorite BMW mechanic, and they didn't diagnose properly, and they just say, it needs some more coolant. So they hit me for more coolant, but that was not really the issue. And I researched it a little bit, and I replaced the electro valve for the hot water, thinking maybe it was stuck in the open position, but that didn't do anything. And I even went on eBay and I ordered a replacement air conditioning control unit, and I changed that, but it's still the same problem. Okay. So I got a little camera, a little wire camera to go into the vents, try to look inside to see what was going on. I didn't come up with anything interesting there, but I'm kind of out of ideas, and of course it's 110 degrees outside, and my air conditioning is not working right.
How long have you had this car, Frank?
I've had it for about 10 years now, and it's a fairly new behavior.
Sure. So a couple things I think of. I happen to be driving my wife's car. She's out of town in my truck, like I said earlier in the show, and she has a BMW 2006. So nothing new, nothing special, 5 Series wagon. And I got in that yesterday, and, of course, I'm using a different key than she uses, so it's got my memory settings. And I turned on the air conditioner. I'm like, this just doesn't seem as cold. And I think there is a setting. So, Frank, I don't know if your model has the iDrive setting in it, but you can control the vent settings also. There's a separate setting besides what's on the dash to turn the AC as cold as you want it, and besides the 2 little roll wheels that are red and blue on the center vents, there's also a driver setting so that you can adjust the vents. And I don't know if that's the problem, but you may go and look at that because you can Like on hers, you turn the dial and the driver's seat actually turns from red to blue on the display screen. And that's even in light of the fact that the air conditioning is on maximum and as cold as it can go. So a couple other things. Now, depending on your favorite BMW mechanic, now, you can't – the first thing we're going to do on any air conditioning system is make sure that it's working properly. It has to have a proper charge level, and it has to have the ability to blow cold air. Right, Tim?
Yep.
There may be other problems. And you take a Dodge truck. They're famous for it. People come in. They say it's not blowing very cold. We check it out. Yeah, it's a little bit low on charge. We charge it. Still not that good because it's blending the hot air with the cold air is what's happening. So, Frank, I have just got to think that car, as sophisticated as it is, going to set some fault codes in the air conditioning control module or the body control module or something. So I think the next step, since you've gone in and replaced some things in a different controller, we need to get back to scratch. We need to clear all the fault codes out of all the modules, and then you're probably going to have to drive the car for a little bit and then have either your favorite BMW mechanic check it or another capable BMW person that has the right scan tool. That little generic $99 scan tool or whatever does not work and get into all the modules. Just because you can read a code does not mean that you're getting into the system. I mean, Tim, we've got three BMW scan tools that do European cars, and I mean they're $25,000, $30,000, $40,000 for these tools.
And then I had a question for Frank too. Is it cold on all? Okay, I want to know if it was cold on all the vents or hot on one vent.
Well,
that would make a difference too.
That's good information. Do you have blended air just out of the middle or blended hot and cold air just out of the sides? So there's a lot happening in the air conditioning system. So we just need to get to somebody that can check those controls. So thanks for the call, Frank. We've got Dave, Paul, and Vince up next. We're going to take a quick break. You listen to Matt and Tim on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
After a car accident, make your first call the right call to Campus Auto Body Salon. Bumper to Bumper Radio approved, 5-star rated with Yelp, CarWise.com, and A+ rated by the BBB. The best care in collision repair since 1973. Check us out at campusbodysalon.com.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
That's our closing line, Pops.
I know, Jeff. Just reinforcing that we're full-service auto repair.
At Kurt's Auto Repair, we do it all, including diesel. We have the passion, training, equipment, and expertise for diesel. Our techs are ASE certified for diesel and advanced diesel diagnostics. Toy hauling, horse trailering, off-roading, or work trucking, we've got you covered.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's. Check us out at mycarhurts.com.
You love golf? Hey, we love golf. Want to stay informed and have a little fun? Just tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 for the Bunker to Bunker Golf Show, the Valley's #1 golf show. I'm Greg Ellis. And I'm Jim Hill. And along with Marty Monahan, we talk to tour players and insiders from around the golf world. So round out the foursome, your weekly tee time, 7 a.m. Saturdays on 98.7 FM, Arizona Sports Station, or catch up with us anytime at bunkergolf.com.
Ouch! Being out of tune is no fun, and maybe even a little painful. Hi, this is Lee Weatherby, owner of Accurate Automotive in Mesa. At Accurate, we are a family-owned and operated one-stop automotive repair shop that specializes in building long-term relationships that are in tune with your needs, not ours. We've been recognized nationally as one of the top shops in the country, but for over 20 years, our priority has stayed focused on providing quality automotive service and repair at a fair price. I invite you to come in and see the difference an in-tune relationship can make for you and your car. With our free courtesy inspection, a $49 value, we feel it is well worth our investment in you because we believe good long-term relationships start early with your first walk through our doors. Accurate Automotive, home of friends serving friends, just off Broadway and Robson in Mesa since 1992. For more information, check us out online at accurateautomotiveaz.com today.
Carrie, I'm glad you picked some good music to get me motivated. I need to go home and do some yard work, and I'm thinking a little bit of extra tunes is going to help me get through this heat. Although I should have been up doing it at 5 o'clock this morning. You know, maybe I'll start in the shade start in the garage, get it all cleaned out and work to the yard once it cools down a little bit. So welcome back to Bumper Radio. I'm Matt Allen. Dave Riccio is off enjoying I hope he's enjoying doing something. He was carrying a load for several weeks in here, and the burden does get heavy coming in here every single Saturday. And when you're doing it by yourself, it's just another little extra bit of work. So thanks to Dave for keeping everything under control while I was able to enjoy some vacation time. And it's his turn now, and Tim Nelson from Virginia Auto Service is in helping out. Tim, thanks for coming in.
Oh, you're welcome. I always enjoy coming down here.
He's all geeked out. He loves coming into the station. But we have a good time doing it. So the last call was Steve on his BMW, and a couple of things I want to say about that call. He had good information. What it was doing. That a little bit of hot air coming out. Unfortunately, he went in and started spending some money on things that, some used parts and stuff that didn't work. And I don't know if his technician had the ability to fully get into the air conditioning control system. But I want to just tell everybody out there so there's a proper alignment of expectations when you go in for air conditioning service. It is oftentimes a 2-trip experience. Sometimes we can't find the leak, or sometimes it's just we get the blinders on. Boom! Oh, hey, there it is. There's that big leak, and we charge it all up. Everything, we fix the leak, we charge it up, and maybe there's another leak that we missed. Maybe there's something wrong with the control system, like he's having on his BMW.
Because leaks can be tricky.
Well, yeah, leak's tricky. You can't see all the components. Yeah. You can't see leaking Freon. It's got no color to it. So we've got to add dye to the system so that hopefully the dye mixes in with the oil, the Freon or refrigerant pressure pushes that dye out the leak, and then we can see that with an ultraviolet light. We do have some sniffers that detect the gases. But again, you can't always see these things. And then there's the charge and then the control. And then we have electronic components that work intermittently, unfortunately. You can have fans. I mean, there's so many different symptoms. You might have a condenser fan that's not working, and so your air is not so cold when you're sitting still, but it works fine when you're driving. That fan may kick on and off intermittently, and it's just not going to work well. Maybe the blower motor. You say, oh, my car's not blowing cold air. Maybe is it not blowing cold air, or is it just not blowing anything? So there's so many different things. So I'm just telling you for your sake and for the sake of the shop that's working with you, it very well may be a 2-step repair, and just hopefully they're doing a good job of explaining this, when you go in. So let's see here. I think Vince in Peoria is the winner of the first call right now. Vince, I hit that button twice. Bryce, help me out. There we go. Vince, who's got a 2010 Nissan Titan. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. How may we help you?
Hello. Thanks for taking the call.
You're welcome.
I'm just trying to get better mileage on my truck, and I'm going to be changing the spark plugs.
Okay.
Which I've never done before. It's got 136,000. Is there anything in particular that I need to be careful of as far as removing the boots?
On the Titan, nothing in particular. When you take the coil wires off, just be gentle unplugging them. They should be held down probably with a little 10-millimeter bolt. You want to take that bolt out, and then maybe just give the coil a light twist as you're pulling it up. Maybe a 90-degree rotation if there's enough room to do that. And what that's going to do is maybe just break the spark plug coil boot away from the spark plug, and then just lift it up. Now you can, depending on where you go to get your parts, you want to get for that one probably NGK is the original spark plug. Just stick with the factory spark plug. Doesn't mean you have to go to the dealer to buy it. Go down to Napa. They'll have the right part for you. You may also consider you can buy the spark plug boot, the coil boot. Sometimes they're described as spark plug wires, even though you don't have spark plug wires, but you can have the boot. And then you want to get some dielectric grease. It's just a clear grease. You put a little squirt of that inside the tube, and that helps insulate, keep the connection good, tight, and clean. Other than that, make sure you've got a clean air filter if you want to get better mileage. And you're not going to get better than what you had originally. You're just going to get it back up to standard. So clean air filter. I hesitate to tell you to clean out the throttle body. The Nissans are very sensitive to that. You might end up with some funky idle problem and have to do a relearn procedure, which is not necessarily a do-it-yourself project. So I hesitate on that. And Tim, I can't think of anything
Maybe
else.
a can of fuel system cleaner in the tank?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be a good thing to do.
Definitely. If you can, some Napa stores sell a product called BG44K. I like that one. That's the one I prefer. Chevron has a Techron is their product. Liquimolly. There's a couple different brands. So if you go to the Napa store, that's what I would do. I'd be looking for Liquimolly, possibly a Seafoam, BG, but that's about all the brands that I would recommend.
And just not hot off the line when you're coming from a red light to going off.
Well, yeah. Driving habits, of course, are going to have some effect too. So we're going to go with. Oh, there's Dave hanging out for a long time down there. Dave has got a 2007 Toyota Yaris from Tempe. Dave, how can we help you?
Hey, thank you guys for what you do. I really appreciate it. I just have a fast question. I was having a battery problem and was having trouble with it staying charged. So I kind of just assumed it was the alternator and was going to go to get it fixed. But my car was completely dead. My friend brought his portable charger. We charged it up 100%. And when I went to start it up just fine. I've had the car for a year, not one problem. And yet the RPMs, when I went to go, it's a stick shift. When I went to put it in reverse, I noticed that the RPMs, it stayed at 0. It wouldn't go up. So the engine was revving low. And it's like almost like an automatic, when you go to put it in drive, if you don't touch the gas, it goes like 5 miles per hour. And it would just stay at that. And so when I would put it in first and hit the gas, even at putting the pedal all the way down, it just stays at 0 RPMs. Do you happen to have an idea what that might be, and also where I could go to get that fixed, like a good recommendation?
So the engine is revving, but the tachometer is just not accurate. Is that what you're telling me?
No, the engine's not revving. It won't go past 0 RPMs. If I put it down, it just stays at like 5 miles per hour. So I was able to drive it over to my friend's house with my friend behind me with his hazard lights, and I parked it over there, and I was just going to try to diagnose the problem, but the check engine light's on. Also,
I got you. Hey, Dave, where in Tempe are you? North Tempe, South Tempe?
I'm actually borderline Mesa, right on Dobson and Southern.
Okay, so a couple shops in Tempe. That's what you need to do. You're going to get over to, you might maybe try out Good Works Auto Repair. They're right on the Tempe Mesa border there by the 101. You can check out Tri-City Transmission and Auto Repair. That's Dave's shop. Either one of those guys are more than capable of helping you with your car. Paul in Avondale with your 2011 Kia, I'm going to take you after the show. So we don't hang up. I'll get you handled. Tim Nelson, Virginia Auto Service, thanks for stopping in, Mr. Smiley Face.
Yes, everybody have a great weekend.
And that's your closing comments. And again, if you are a technician looking for a job, I am hiring. Please try and find me at Virginia Auto Service.
Happy 4th of July.
Oh, yeah, 4th of July next Thursday. Have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you next Saturday.